Well, what a shocking performance that was. That was bar none the worst performance I have seen from Newcastle United since January 2022. What's the cause of it? Why did the players look like they didn't want to play football? Every chance we got the ball, we couldn't play a 10-yard pass. It was going straight at the Brighton players, and I'm going to call players out, right? We've praised this team since January 2022, rightfully so, because they have been magnificent. Even under a loss, we've still had the back in 2 to 3 games after would go on a winning spree. It's been absolutely unbelievable. But against Brighton, there was no fight to play football. Yet again, Sandro Tonali was the only player that wanted to play football on that pitch. And I think it's a time for a change. And by no means am I Eddie Howe. I don't criticise Eddie Howe and his tactics. It's worked for a year and a half, and as it will continue to do so as well. We've got a very favourable 8 games coming up, and we could possibly win every single one. I mean, going to the West Ham Stadium, that's going to be a very hard fixture, of course. Beating Brighton 3-1 at their own ground. But it's just something does need to change, and I think it may be the formation. It's not working. Alexander Isak isn't getting any service whatsoever, and we can't attack the wings anymore. Something is going on, and I have got a sort of solution, but yet again, I just want to say out here, I am no Eddie Howe. I'm not a footballing expert. I've not got any badges. I'm a 17-year-old that makes content creation, and I'm just giving my sort of ideas on it, which I'd like you to agree as well, because I think this is very, very good. Of course, at the back, we're going 4-2-3-1, starting with Nick Pope and Trippier. It's easy. I mean, Livramento isn't going to come in right now, as he is perfect. We've paid 40 million for him, but he's not going to start over Kieran Trippier right now. Next season, that may be a different story. We'll never know. Right centre-back, Fabian Schär. Left centre-back, Sven Botman. Left-back, Dan Burn. You might be saying, well, why would you start Dan Burn after that performance? Everyone else has been equally as bad. And you could say Target there because Botman's out, but I'm just going based on if no one's injured. I'd even use Joe Willock, considering he's not injured. I'm not going to use Joe Willock in this, so considering we are playing a 4-2-3-1. And that means we'll have 2 pivots, 2 CDMs, 2 sixes. On the right defensive mid, if you want to call it, I'd have Sandro Tonali. You might be saying, Sandro Tonali's played an 8, he's an 8, he's an 8. Sandro Tonali's played against a 6 his whole career, as a 6 as well, in a double pivot. He's done that his whole career at AC Milan. Don't come out here saying he's an 8. By all means, he's a fantastic 8. He's the best 8 we've got, and he probably is one of the best 8s in the league as well. But we'll have to admit, he's played there his whole life. He can play there for Newcastle United. Bruno Guimaraes, him is a left pivot as well. He can't do it by himself. We've seen he's struggling so much. It's not the same Bruno. That doesn't get me into prison saying that, does it? I hope it doesn't, because by all means, it's very justifiable saying that. He cannot do it by himself in a pivot. So him and Tonali in a pivot could be unbelievable. Now, if you're a FIFA player, you'll be familiar with these sort of recognitions. If you're not a FIFA player and you're of an older generation, these are called cams, number 10s. So a left winger and a right winger, if you want to call it, but just not as high up the pitch. Left wing, left attacking mid, whatever you want to call it, Joelinton. He plays brilliant on the left-hand side, like we've seen against Spurs when we won 5-1. Schär sends these long balls up and he touches them down, takes it round the keeper. But he does very well there as well. And another man which I want to touch up on, who would sort of have to slide in this formation somehow, is Joe Willock. When Joe Willock and Joelinton swap in formations, they do very well as well. They both run up the same wing, the overchange, the interlock. It looks perfect. But as a number 10, I want to go Alexander Isak. He is not working as a striker. No one's given him the service. Is he a good striker? Oh, he is phenomenal. The second best in the league for me, from technical ability. I mean, he's unbelievable. He takes penalties. The strike on him is unbelievable, and he can take players on. What I love about Alexander Isak is, I've seen some stat which was unbelievable. He's in the top 10% of strikers who can, strike the ball from such a close angle up into the net, which makes it obviously, of course, harder for goalkeepers to stop. He's an unbelievable striker, and he really, really is, but no one's given him the service, and that's not his fault. It's other players' fault. Miguel Almiron can't get the service to him. Anthony Gordon can get the service to him. It's just not working. We've seen Gordon run down that wing and cross it in with his left so many times, but Miguel Almiron has to cut back on his left every single time. He's a right winger. He can't cross with his right. He can't use his right foot. So that really does put us in a sticky situation. And on the right-hand side, I am going to go Anthony Gordon. I'm not using Miguel Almiron. Anthony Gordon looks such a strong player. Of course, he's better on the left, but Joelinton's much better on the left than on the right. I've never seen him play on the right. We don't know if he can play on the right-hand side. Anthony Gordon is unbelievable. He's been one of our two best players alongside Sandro Tonali for the past 2 games. I want faith in this lad. He didn't have that much backing when he first come. I was one of the fans that stuck by him. I hope you were as well. And it's striker, we are going Callum Wilson. I mean, he bagged one against Brighton. Whenever he comes on, he seems to bag. He is a very good striker. But if we are playing Alexander Isak and Callum Wilson, there's only one problem. We sort of do need backing in the striker area. Who else is going to play there apart from them two? If Callum Wilson gets injured, we'll have to change formation again. And that's probably the pinnacle of this team. That's why it would be the downfall of what it is, unfortunately. But I genuinely do think this would work. Players have just been sloppy. Like I say, every time we've got the ball, we just seem to lob it and it goes straight to a Brighton player and they capitalise on us. But let's not take it away from how good Brighton actually were. Evan Ferguson, at 18 years old, literally terrorised us. Was it the best hat-trick in the world? No, it was probably one of the least entertaining I've seen. I mean, it was a deflection. The first goal wasn't the best of goals, but you've got to give it to him. At 18 years old, stepping on a Premier League pitch against world-class players, top of the top, professional athletes, and he's went and scored a hat-trick again, so unbelievable. Hats off to him. But another man I want to pick up on is Billy Gilmour. The passes he was finding was unbelievable. I mean, I was going into this game thinking, oh, get him, Billy Gilmour's playing. I've not seen much of him, but he was outstanding against us. And you've just got to credit Brighton. They are a fantastic football club, not because of the 11 players on the pitch. They are a fantastic football club, everything around them. The transfer market, yet again, Billy Gilmour, £6 million, and they sold Caicedo for 115. That is fantastic. I couldn't credit a club so much. I wish we had done even better transfer business. I mean, we have done okay transfer business. Yes, a young striker, another centre-back for cover, as we do need now, would have been phenomenal. But they have done the best transfer business, bar none, in the world, probably. If you were Eddie Howe, what would you change in Newcastle United? Some players just don't look up to it. We don't look fit for some reason. It's time to start worrying, of course. I mean, yet again, our next 8 games. Who is it? Brentford, West Ham. This isn't in chronological order. I mean, I'm so bad with dates, but Brentford, Burnley, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Sheffield United, and there's 2 more in there, but I'm so bad. Or there might be 3 more, God knows. But I've seen it, and we could pick up 13 plus points. I mean, I don't really expect us to lose any of them games. If we were going to lose, I wouldn't be too annoyed at a loss at the West Ham Stadium. I forgot what that's called, actually. It might be the Olympic Stadium or whatever. I don't want to get it wrong on the camera. But yeah, it's annoying. I wouldn't say I'm absolutely livid, but that performance was just nothing to be proud of whatsoever. It genuinely was nothing to be proud of. How can you expect Newcastle fans to be happy? Some fans on social media are just, keep your heads up. Yes, we're keeping our heads up, but it's our team. If they play bad, we can be angry. If they play good, we praise them, as we have for such a long time. We are fans. We're entitled to do whatever we want. But there we have it, boys. Something needs to change now.